HSBC. Now, Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, Laurel and Hardy, all famous Hollywood pairings. Well, in India's Bollywood, it's Shah Rukh and Kajol that have made hit movies for over 2 decades. They're back on the big screen this time in the most expensive Bollywood film Bollywood has ever produced, Dilwale. The BBC Asian Network's entertainment reporter Haroon Rashid met up with the couple here in London.
Shah Rukh and Kajol are India's most loved on-screen couple. But why would a Bollywood-style romance appeal to a wider audience?
I think Dilwale is a whole package. There is story, there is drama, there is intrigue, there are flying cars as usual in every, bit and corner of it. And there is this lovely, funny comedy with these wonderfully funny people in it.
And Shah Rukh, if we look at your partnership on screen together, this is your 7th film together now. And if I had to compare it to anything, I'd say it was kind of the Richard Gere and Julia Roberts or the Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
They haven't done 7 films together.
They haven't. Yeah. But obviously there are expectations that the audience hold now. Is there a risk of diluting the legacy that the two of you have?
When we do films, we never try to up our game to try and change it from the last one. We just do them because we like them. We like each other. We like our company. We like the fact that we have been part of 6 of the most successful films ever made in the country.
This song in Dilwale is the most expensive video ever to be shot for a Bollywood film, costing almost $1 million US. And Shah Rukh Khan himself is the producer.
The technology part of it is what I want to invest in, whether it's the VFX, whether it's the sound, whether it's the picture quality. I didn't know the speciality of all this. And I think as a producer, as Indians, the one thing that we can control is technology, so it should be of international level. Otherwise, we'll really fall back. Western films will take over every other film like they have done all over the places.
Kajol, but in terms of recognition from the West, the last Hindi film to be nominated for an Academy Award was Lagaan in 2001. Why do you think Hindi cinema isn't getting that recognition from the West at the moment?
Like, I think Dilwale is promoting, it's one of the few films that has actually come out, is willing to go that extra mile to promote the film as well.
And I think there's a bit of an issue. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about myself that way, but the world's biggest star, America doesn't know. That's what they describe me as when I give interviews there. And that's how the best movies that America hasn't seen yet. And we'll have to change the format of our films. We'll have to, I always say this, if I'm invited to your party, I need to dress up in the code that you tell me to. I cannot be wearing my code of 2.5 hours with 5 songs. We'll have to change that.
But until it changes, Dilwale takes the formula and puts it on a scale that's never been seen before. Haroon Rashid, BBC News.
Well, Haroon is here to talk more about that movie, but also about some stiff competition it's facing at the box office. Perhaps you can guess by our background what that might be. Star Wars, of course. Well, Hollywood, too, is preparing for one of the biggest movie premieres in its history. The 7th movie, called Star Wars The Force Awakens, is being screened in 3 separate cinemas later today. The franchise is thought to have made $28 billion so far. $4.8 billion of that comes from box office revenue, but the majority has been generated from merchandising. For this 7th movie, the sale from merchandise is expected to bring in $5 billion in the first year of the film's release. And some box office experts predict The Force Awakens could smash the record set in June this year by Jurassic World, which earned $500 million globally in its opening weekend. Let's talk to Haroon. 2 major movies being released in India. It's probably one of the few countries in the world where Star Wars will actually have a fight on its hands. But, I mean, what separates the two? One is actually a very big budget for Bollywood, but if you put it in Hollywood terms, peanuts, perhaps.
No, yeah, exactly. And I think the thing with Dilwale is it might have only been made on a budget, a fraction of the budget of Star Wars, but the fan base is so big for Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol, who are the 2 leads of this film. People have been waiting 5 years to see them on screen together again. I mean, in their interview, I mentioned that they are kind of the Julia Roberts and Richard Gere sort of romantic couple. But really, when we think about Star Wars and we think about a franchise, Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol are a franchise in themselves. I mean, they've been working together for over 22 years. People go crazy every time any of their films come out. One of their films, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, which released in 1995, is still running in a cinema in Mumbai today. So you can really see the craze for them there.
I like the way that Shah Rukh Khan, he described himself, or somebody had described him, as the most famous actor in the world that America doesn't know about.
Yes.
What's in that? Why is this?
I think it's because obviously there is a language barrier with the films in India. They're in Hindi, but really he has so much more than just his films. He also owns a cricket team. He's a film producer. He's involved in special effects in India as well, and he really wants to take Indian cinema forward. And actually, when he was in London just a couple of weeks ago, he went to a cinema here and interacted with his fans over here, and there was just queues and queues of people who just wanted a glimpse of him, just to see him. And you don't really get that sort of hysteria for even Hollywood stars.
Now, you talked to him about if Bollywood wanted to be as global as, say, Hollywood, the changes that it would need to make. I mean, how much appetite is there for Bollywood to internationalise itself even more? Well,
I don't know if there's an appetite, but is there really a need to do that when the audience is so strong amongst South Asian audiences, whether that be Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi or Sri Lankan? The audience is so big already. I mean, Hollywood films now are doing well in India because they're adapting to Indian style, so they're being dubbed in local regional languages, whether that's Hindi or Tamil or Punjabi. But the Bollywood formula still is more successful. Jurassic World is the only non-Hindi film to be, non-Indian film to be in the top 10 grosses in India this year. The rest are all big starrers, big Bollywood blockbusters. So do they really need to conform and get that recognition from the West? I'm not sure.
What was it like sitting in front of these two? You watched them growing up.
Yes.
Watched all of their films.
I was 1.5 when their first film came out, so for me it was really a surreal experience, but they were really lovely, and it was great that they don't take themselves too seriously. They don't take that partnership very seriously, and they're kind of like any other actor, just trying to get on with their work and produce the best that they can.
What film will you be going to see out of these two?
Well, luckily for me, hopefully I'll be able to catch one at a screening, so therefore I won't have to decide on Friday itself. But Dilwale is going to be massive. I am a big Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol fan, so I think it might have to be that one. Very quickly though, in India, Star Wars is being delayed by a few days because they know the competition is going to be so strong.
Fascinating.
And Dilwale has another Bollywood blockbuster, Bajirao Mastani, which it's competing with anyway. Dilwale is a big family entertainer. Bajirao Mastani is a big historical epic, so I think they need a few days without Star Wars.
No shortage of great stuff to watch then.
No.
Thank you very much, Haroon Rashid, for coming in.